Two people walk into the same storm. One stands still, eyes calm, breathing steady, unmoved. The other explodes, panics, blames the sky. Same storm. Completely different inner worlds. Which one are you? Most people live like emotional leaves in the wind. Someone says one wrong word, and their entire day collapses. A driver cuts them off, and suddenly their blood is boiling. Their boss sends a cold email, and now their mind is spiraling at 2 a.m. This is not living. This is surviving by accident. Here is the painful truth nobody tells you. Every time you react without thinking, you hand someone else the remote control to your life. You let the world decide your mood. You let strangers determine your peace. You become a puppet, and you do not even realize it. The Stoics saw this 2,000 years ago. They built a philosophy around one radical idea, that your mind is your fortress, and nobody gets in unless you open the door. Today, that fortress gets built. This video is not motivation. Motivation fades by Tuesday. This is mental architecture. By the time this video ends, you will have 12 Stoic principles locked inside your mind. Principles that create a psychological armor so strong that criticism cannot crack it. Failure cannot crush it, and chaos cannot shake it. But only if you stay until the very end. Because the last lesson? It is the one most people are never taught. And it might be the most important thing you hear this year. Before we begin, I want you to do one thing. Go to the comments right now and write this sentence. My mind is mine. That is it. 3 words. Why? Because the act of writing, it makes it real. Psychology confirms that when you declare something in writing, your brain starts treating it as identity, not just intention. You are not just watching a video. You are making a decision. Own it. Lesson 1. You cannot control the storm, only your sails. Epictetus opened his entire philosophy with one idea. Some things are in your control, and some things are not. Weather, people, outcomes, not yours. Your response, your judgment, your effort, completely yours. The moment you stop fighting what you cannot control, you reclaim enormous energy. Most people exhaust themselves wrestling with the uncontrollable. Stop, redirect that energy inward. Ask yourself daily, is this mine to control? If the answer is no, release it completely and move forward. Lesson 2. Your opinion of events creates your suffering. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The traffic jam is not the problem. Your story about the traffic jam is the problem. The insult is not the wound. Your interpretation of the insult creates the wound. Nothing has meaning until your mind assigns it meaning. So become ruthlessly conscious of the stories you tell yourself, because those stories become your emotional reality every single day. Lesson 3. Silence is a weapon, not a weakness. Seneca warned that most of our suffering comes from what we say impulsively, not from what happens to us. When emotions spike, most people speak. The Stoic does the opposite. They go silent. That silence is not passivity. It is precision. It is the gap between stimulus and response where your power lives. Train yourself to pause before every reaction. 1 breath. 2 seconds. That tiny space is where emotionally armored people are built. Silence is not surrender. It is the sharpest sword in your arsenal. Lesson 4. Discomfort is the training ground of the mind. Epictetus was a slave. He lived in chains. And yet he became one of the most psychologically free humans in history. How? He embraced difficulty instead of avoiding it. He understood that every uncomfortable moment was a teacher in disguise. You do not build mental strength by staying comfortable. You build it by walking into discomfort voluntarily. Cold mornings, hard conversations, rejected ideas. Stop treating discomfort as the enemy. Start treating it as the gym where your emotional armor gets forged. Lesson 5. People's opinions are not your responsibility. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and still faced constant criticism, betrayal, and misunderstanding. His response? He focused on his own character, not other people's perception of it. The emotionally reactive person constantly adjusts themselves to manage others' opinions. The Stoic does not. You cannot control what people think about you, and trying to do so is a full-time job with no salary. Do your work with integrity. Carry your values like armor, and let the opinions of others blow through you like wind through a wire fence. Lesson 6. Anger borrows from tomorrow's peace. Seneca called anger temporary madness. He was not being poetic, he was being precise. When you are angry, your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, goes offline. You say things you regret. You make decisions that haunt you. And here is what nobody tells you. Every explosion of anger costs you future peace. It trains your nervous system to react faster next time. Interrupt the cycle deliberately. When anger rises, name it. I am feeling anger right now. Naming it reduces its power immediately. This is not weakness. This is neuroscience meeting Stoicism. Lesson 7. Expect difficulty, and you will never be blindsided. The Stoics practiced a daily exercise called premeditatio malorum, premeditation of adversity. Every morning, they would mentally rehearse what could go wrong that day. Not to become pessimistic, but to become unshakable. When you expect smooth roads only, every bump destroys you. When you have already imagined the bump, you navigate it calmly. Start your mornings by asking, what challenge might I face today? Then mentally rehearse your composed response. You are not predicting disaster, you are building psychological resilience before it is needed. Lesson 8. Gratitude rewires the reactive brain. Marcus Aurelius began many of his private journal entries with gratitude, listing what he had learned from difficult people, what teachers gave him, what virtues he had been shown. This was not a soft practice. It was a strategic mental reset. Gratitude physiologically shifts your brain from threat detection mode into appreciation mode. A grateful mind is harder to destabilize because it already feels abundant. When something goes wrong today, ask, what is this moment still giving me? The answer might surprise you with its quiet power. Lesson 9. Your past has no vote on your present. Epictetus did not use his slavery as an excuse. He used it as evidence, proof that external circumstances have no final authority over the inner life. Too many people drag yesterday's pain into today's decisions. They let old wounds vote on new choices. Stoicism demands a ruthless present focus. What happened cannot be changed. What you do right now can be. Your past is information. It is not your identity. The emotionally armored person honors their history without being imprisoned by it. Today is always a clean page. Lesson 10. Love what is, not what you wish were. Amor fati, love of fate. Marcus Aurelius did not just accept difficulty, he trained himself to love it. To see every obstacle as exactly what was needed for growth. This is not blind optimism. It is radical acceptance fused with fierce intentionality. When reality clashes with your expectations, and it always will, the question is not, why is this happening to me? The question is, how does this serve my becoming? That single shift in framing transforms victims into architects of their own transformation. Lesson 11. Who you are alone defines who you are everywhere. Seneca wrote that the truly wise person behaves the same whether they are being watched or completely alone. Most people are performers. Their discipline, kindness, and values only appear when an audience exists. The Stoic is consistent in the dark. Because they understand that character is not built in public, it is revealed there. What you do when no one is watching is your real identity. Your private thoughts, private habits, Private disciplines, those are your actual foundation. Build that foundation with the same care you bring to your public face. Lesson 12. The goal is not happiness. It is virtue. Here is the lesson most people never hear. Modern culture tells you to chase happiness. Stoicism says something far more powerful. Chase virtue, and happiness becomes a natural byproduct. When your actions align with your values, no external outcome can fully break you. You could lose money, status, relationships, and still possess something unlosable: the knowledge that you acted with integrity. This is the deepest armor. Not emotional numbness, not detachment, but the unshakable inner knowledge that you are living according to who you truly are. Now step back and see what has actually happened inside this video. The world outside has not changed. There are still difficult people out there. There is still uncertainty, loss, failure, noise, and chaos in every direction. None of that disappeared, but something inside you has shifted. You now see that the chaos was never the real problem. Your unguarded reaction to it was. The Stoic does not live in a peaceful world. They carry peace inside a turbulent one. That is the difference. And once you understand this, truly understand it, no person, no event, no failure can permanently own your emotional state ever again. That power is yours now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." That line ends here with you. You have the philosophy. You have the armor. Now the only question is whether you pick it up and wear it daily. If this video moved something in you, hit that like button right now. It tells the universe and this algorithm that this kind of wisdom matters. Drop one word in the comments that represents who you are choosing to become. Discipline, unshakable, free. Let it be yours. And subscribe to the channel because this is only the beginning of your Stoic journey.